Hey everyone, my name is Neil Karski and I'm the CEO of Patient Engine, a seven-figure digital marketing, lead conversion, and coaching agency for high-ticket aesthetics providers. And I would like to personally welcome you to the Aesthetics Millionaires show, where we sit down with industry entrepreneurs to talk about their personal journeys and discuss proven growth strategies. My genuine hope is that through this podcast, we can create more success stories in this industry and help more business owners scale past their competition. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Aesthetics Millionaires Show. I'm here with Richie Jaynes. Richie is the owner and CEO of Live Well RX Clinic. It's a telehealth business. Richie, let's dive right in. Let's talk about your entrepreneurship background. Is this your first business? Is this your 10th business? How did you become an entrepreneur, and what is your background?
Well, yeah, no, it began a long time ago, to be quite honest with you. So, back in my formal days, I would say formal education. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. That's what I went to school for, played college football, always wanted to go into athletics. And so, went on to become a Division I strength and conditioning coach, but realized very quickly that there's not a lot of money in that space. And I'm always been very money driven. But to be quite honest with you, I think my entrepreneurial, prowessness began back in my very early age when I was very young. Growing up in Nashville, Tennessee, I lived directly on Music Row. I mean, when I say I lived on Music Row, I literally lived on Music Row where all the studios were at the time. And as a little rugrat running all over town, not really, knowing what I'm doing, I would then go up to these studios, which at the time were little houses. Today, if you went to Nashville, it's not that way anymore. It's very corporately and very big. But back then, there were old houses, and I would just walk up and walk in as a little knucklehead kid, going, "Hey, can I mow your yard for $5?" And I literally had one of those mowers that was turning, and I would start mowing their yards for $5, and then in the wintertime, I'd shovel snow. So I would say my entrepreneurial, began back then. But as I grew older and then graduated college, went into coaching, I still had that aspiration to be an entrepreneur. And so I left coaching, and at 24 years of age, I bought one of Dallas, Texas's most iconic gyms called The Gym. And it was kind of like the Cheers of gyms. Every major, I would say, well-known bodybuilder worked out there. Every major entrepreneur in town worked out there, and I bought it. Had no business behind it, but I did because I didn't have a clue what I was doing at 24. Owed that for about 4 years, and I ended up selling it to another friend of mine. Got out of it because at that time, I also opened up a sports performance training center. And in the mid 90s, sports performance centers, which are very prevalent today, was not prevalent then. It was not even known. The word sports performance training center was really not even in the vocabulary at the time. So I started, and me and my partner, who was obviously a strength coach for the Dallas Cowboys as well at the time, and the Dallas Mavericks, we started that together. And so we had a really good built-in clientele, and we coined pretty much Sports Performance Training Center. And we started that. And I did that. And then while I was doing that, I got recruited into the network marketing world, the direct sales world, which I had no clue what it's like. But
That'll teach you a thing or two for sure.
well, I mean, it can teach you a whole lot, good and bad. And so, the good thing is that I was, green as a gore, as we say down here in Texas, and didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I was just running through hell with a water pistol with it. And it was a nutritional product because I was a big believer, owned a gym, had personal training, so it kind of naturally fit, right? And so I went on to become one of the top producers in that company for 22 years. And me and my wife were very, very, very blessed with that company, and did very, very well with that company. And anybody that knows anything about direct sales and network marketing, the money can be really stupid at times. And I mean, really stupid. And so,
You got a lot of layers below you. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, we had.
Amway, all these different things, right? My parents did Amway anyways, they learned a lot too, right? You hustle. It's, basically like traditional word of mouth, guerrilla marketing, and then you continue to build the layers and reap the benefits. And I would say for sales or marketing, it's, it's an amazing learning experience. It really teaches you how to hustle and leverage relationships, and be able to be able to scale without having to maybe throw in tens of thousands of dollars into paid ads.
No, you touched on two key things that what network marketing can teach you, and it taught me this. Number one is sales. Sales is king. I don't care what space you're in, what vertical you're in. If you're not selling, you're not in business. Period. You can't stay in business. At least you got to be selling something, whether it's your personality, whether it's a solid product or whatever it may be. But you're selling something. Number two is relationships. One thing I learned very early on in my entrepreneurial venture is that it's not what you know, it's who you know. I've only really honestly gotten to where I'm at today. And I say this very respectfully, is because of people I've known and the people I've met and the people that I have come in contact with has really helped, catapult me along my journey. And I really, really credit a lot to that. So network marketing taught me both of those things. And, it also teaches you not to be scared. I mean, sales is scary, right? So those things I learned a lot about that. And I took those skill sets that I'd learned in that 22 years. And along the way, I also applied it to other things that I did outside of that business with investments. Started an investment company with a partner of mine who was on The Apprentice, Donald Trump's Apprentice, which was very popular at the time. Him and I started a very non-traditional, out-of-the-box real estate investment company. Did very well there. We got into oil and gas. I owned a couple oil and gas wells here in Texas. Did that. So I'm just giving you a long list of my entrepreneurial journey along the way. And the main thing along those 22 years was the one thing that was feeding me was my direct sales company that we were running. But then that came to a halt in 2025 and 2019, that came to a halt. And at that time, when I say it came to a halt, it came to an abrupt halt. In a matter of about a 3 to 5 minute conversation, we lost millions of dollars overnight in that time frame. Millions gone. I had a team of about 17 to 20,000 people that were on our team that disappeared from us. And I just stared at my wife and go, "What?
Why?
They decided to go a different direction. The company did. They dismantled the network marketing portion of their business and went direct to consumer with it, which is a whole nother story within itself, because you have a 25-year-old company that's built their entire revenue on guys like us. Then all of a sudden, because of some FTC rulings or things they don't want to adhere to or really fight against, decided to go a different direction, going, "Hey, you know what? We're not going to do this anymore. We're going to go this way." And by the way, we got 25 years of database and sales and revenue that we can go off of. And by the way, I don't want to mention names. It was a very well household name. We had very prominent sports endorsers behind our company that gave us to be a household name. We were sponsors of major television sports football games that were on NFL and college on Saturdays, that our name was plastered on the field. So we were very well known. So they could go direct to consumer with us very easily and leave us out of the picture and do well. And that's what they
Let
did.
let me ask you this. So, uh, let's fast forward just to throw things off a little bit, to today. Would you ever consider starting? I know you have a telehealth company now, which we'll talk about here in a second. But would you ever consider starting an MLM company in today's digital age?
Yes and no. Yes, because of what I do know. I would take the things I don't like about it and eliminate it, which are the cultish, brainwashing things that you do. And believe me, I was guilty. It's like I tell my wife, we joke about it. You ever watch these documentaries where these guys were in gangs or whatever, and now they're out, now that are cults, now they can talk about it and tell you all about the ins and outs of the mob and how it operates? That's me. I can tell you everything. I can read it like a book, like the back of my hand, when these guys come walking up, or how they're operating, their philosophies. I pick up on it like that. And I go, "I know what you're going to do. Stop, just stop." So yes and no. So I would take that because speaking of what we're going to talk about today, I do believe there is a model there because of the difficulty of the marketing aspects of the vertical that we are in, and the what we call the like I sell a lot of GLP-1s, which are the weight loss, right? And the peptides and all the aesthetic stuff. I sell those things, which marketing is very hard. So the direct sell marketing model would make a lot of sense. If make a lot of sense, there is what it would do. So yes, the answer is yes.
Let's talk about your transition into the aesthetics, beauty, weight loss world. How did you stumble upon, you know, the GLP-1s, etc.?
Yeah. So 2019 that came to an end. We were then searching. I felt like I call it wandering in the desert for a time. And a friend had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want you to take a look at a insurance company that sells a a discount card that sells to 503B pharmacies and hospitals that helps the indigenous population afford brand name drugs." Well, that company also had a telehealth company associated with it, and that company also had um, some other products that they were trying to sell to us to be able to sell out into the marketplace. So one day on our sales call, the company says, "Hey, we got this new drug. It's the hottest thing since sliced bread, and everybody wants it, and it's hard to get. Kim Kardashian's all over it, and she loves it, and we can get it. And if you know any HRT clinics, weight loss clinics, med spas, anybody like that, we can go sell this to them." And this was 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 2 years. Yeah. 2022, 2023 is when this was. And so,
Interesting, because that's when I think that the whole COVID era really changed the arena for a lot of people, but it also changed society in many different ways. And for some people, it made them more active, and for the rest, it made them less active. And less movement kind of led to the rise in obesity. I started my marketing agency in 2020, right before or right after the lockdowns happened. And I was like, man, like people are going to look for convenient ways to transform their bodies. And they did. And I think you were at the same place and at the same time from a medication perspective. So definitely adds up. So you discovered Ozempic. What happened next?
yeah. So as we started getting on these calls and being an entrepreneur that I am, I'm not really accustomed to working for anybody. And so I'm like a caged animal, and I just can't handle these calls. And especially what was going on in these calls, I just said, you know what? I can do this better. I can do this better than these guys. So I just reverse engineered everything that they were doing and learned what they were doing. And I went out and just completely built my own telehealth business from the ground up with zero experience. None.
I like it. I like it. I want to dive into this
Yep.
without giving away too much of your secret sauce. But how did you start? I mean, nowadays I will tell you, right? Having a telemedicine, medical telemedicine e-commerce business is extremely difficult. You get Hims and Henrys and some of these bigger providers who are just throwing millions and millions of dollars into e-commerce marketing, onto ads, search, all that stuff. So it's become an extremely saturated, diluted space. Seems like you're still doing quite well, but like, let's go in and let's look at some of those early days and tell us like, what happened besides you putting up a website.
Yeah. So what I look for as an entrepreneur is I look for issues and problems, and I look for solutions. And so as I was getting into this entire discovering how I was going to do this, one of the things I was really noticing as I was doing our research was going to these different telehealth websites was that they're difficult. There are a lot of hoops to jump through. And I would bounce about 90% of the time. I'm going,
So user experience is really bad, and there was no clear calls to action. It was just really hard to get from the click to purchase.
correct. It was very stale, so to speak. And then more importantly, in today's world, people aren't willing to give up their information very easily, right? So I'm sitting here having to fill out all this stuff. I'm going, I'm not going to do this. I'm not giving, why am I going to give them my information? I don't know these guys. I don't know who they are. And I started thinking, this is not if I'm going online, people have been for years going online and have been trained and let's say accustomed to doing certain things online, buying habits. People have certain buying habits. E-commerce has trained us to be a certain way. And so I started thinking, I go, you know what? Getting GLP-1s. Now, I'm not here to discount the seriousness of these products, but getting GLP-1s, TRT, HRT, skincare peptides, whatever else type of peptides, longevity, anti-aging peptide, shouldn't be that difficult to do. It should be like going to buy a pair of shoes and a pair of shirt online. That's all it should be. Like, why is it not? Why is it not that way? Why am I having to go this way? I go, if I can't do it, Sister Mary in middle Missouri in the middle of nowhere is not going to do it either because she's not used to it. It's got to be that simple. And so I just started thinking, I'm going to flip the script, no pun intended here. I'm going to create a user experience that is like, going to the website and ordering. And so that's exactly what I did. Ordering a pair of shoes, ordering a pair of sites. So you come to my site, and what we do is the user experience flow is that you're going to come because you already know what you want, most likely. With today's internet world and Google and all the knowledge and things that are going on, and also I believe the patient-doctor relationship has changed today too. I'm not sure how you operate, but I know a lot of people operate this way. You don't go to your doctor anymore and tell them or ask them what you want. You basically go tell them, here's what I'm here for, and here's what I want. And if you can't help me, I'm going to go find a doctor that can help me. Because I've already been online, I've already chat GPT'd it, I've already Googled it, I've already researched it, I've already reached out and references and found everything about what I want. So here's what I want. So the patient-doctor relationship has changed. And because of that, when you get to my site, 99% of the time, you know what you want. So why do I got to educate you and send you through all these hoops first? Because all I'm going to do is run you off. You're going to get bored and you go, look, that's not what I'm here for. I'm busy. I ain't got time to do all this. This is why I'm on telehealth. Telehealth is here to compress time, not to elongate it. So if I can't do this quickly in a quick fashion, I'm out. And so that's kind of where my thought process was going. I'm going to create a site and I'm going to create a business that accomplishes all those things right there and solves all those things that I just mentioned. And
So let me ask you this. So as it stands right now, and maybe if you want to talk about the evolution of things, how easy is it for customers or patients to go from click to having medication shipped to them? Do they have to go through NP clearance? Do they have to put in medical history? What information do they have to put in? Just walk us through that improved flow that allowed you to expedite the decision making process.
very easily. Number one, come to site, pick out product, add to cart, check out. That's simple. When you check out, we have it built, our site is built on logic. Based on the products that you have in your cart that you check out with, you are then going to be presented with the proper medical intake form based on those particular products that you've had in your cart. So if you have a semaglutide, trizipatide, or whatever it is in your cart, that particular medical intake is going to be presented. Also, if you are a returning or an initial patient, we'll determine what intake form that you also get as well too. Initial intakes are different from refill intakes. So we all have that built on logic. So you're not having to put in or do anything until after you pay. So if we look at the psychology of people and buying habits, the reason why I was bouncing 90% of the time is because I got no skin in the game. I haven't committed yet. Once I put the credit card down and I commit, I check out, I'm committed now. I'm going to fill out the form. I'm going to stick around a little bit longer. So now the form gets filled out. You're going to fill it out, and I'm going to get you, and now you're going to go through the process. At that particular juncture, you have now, we contract with third-party doctor provider networks that handle all our prescribing and our oversight. So they'll take over from there inside a HIPAA compliant portal. That's where everything now takes place between the doctor and the patient. Does that kind of help explain a little simplicity of the process?
Yeah, it's an interesting way to think about it. And it's I guess it's compliant since you're doing it.
Yep.
It's compliant because you require them to fill out the information and to get cleared before the medication gets shipped.
Right, because nothing can happen. So what has happened is after you check out, you're then going to move to a page. It's your thank you page, and it says, "Hey, you're not done yet. You need to click here in order to complete your intake form." You got to click on it, and then at that time, another page is going to pop up. You're going to put in your name and your email, and then it's going to hit submit. And then at that time, that's when your intake form will appear. You are now inside a third-party HIPAA compliant portal where all this information is going to be housed at now. Once you fill that form out, that is then submitted with the system that we use. It's going to be, a doctor will receive that and review that is licensed in your state to be able to prescribe that particular drug. And he or she will get it, review that. And let's just say for the sake of time, everything is good to go. They have no questions. They are then going to take that, and that is going to be sent directly to the pharmacy through a system called SureScripts, eScripts, whatever it is, directly to the pharmacy that we have an account with. That pharmacy fills that product, and then they ship it directly to your doorstep. It's that simple.
What are your hot sellers besides weight loss medication?
NAD is getting really hot right now. Which
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's coming up now pretty heavily. I would also say, and it's very hard, peptides. I'm getting a lot of requests for peptides from Tessa Moreland. Let's see what else. BPC.
Let's stop right there for a second. Yeah, BPC 157 is awesome. I actually love BPC 157. I was injured, and it helps a lot with joint recovery and reparation stuff like that. But as we look forwards to the future, a lot of people are kind of worried about what's going to happen with GLP-1s, right? And if we're going to be able to provide it at a mass scale, et cetera, et cetera. Can you comment on that a little bit? And then can you comment on what's your backup strategy? I know Sermolin is it's a peptide a lot of people use as an alternative these days as well. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
So I'm going to give you my opinion on the whole GLP-1 and my philosophy on the way I think it's going to go. And I base it on the whole ED vertical that took place when Cialis and Viagra came out. That started getting compounded. And, obviously there were rules and regulations in place for that. They tried to stop it. They couldn't stop it. It went back and forth like the GLP-1s are doing. And look at it where it is today. It didn't go anywhere. It's still around, still being compounded. And Hims became a $6 billion company off one blue pill. So, go figure. It's not going anywhere. So I believe we're going to probably see a lot of the same similarities with the GLP-1s that we kind of saw with those other compounds. Compounding is not going anywhere. I think these guys, it's becoming too big. The toothpaste is out of the tube. And there's too much high of demand. There's too big of an economy around it. And again, we know how our world works. When there's an economy around something, it's usually not going to go anywhere. It'll stay around. It may have some changes, but it's going to still be there. That's my philosophy. That's where I see, It may change a little bit, but I think there'll be some access to it.
Let's talk about marketing, Richie, because without marketing, we're not getting any sales, right? And without sales, we're not getting revenue. So, how what kind of strategies have you been able to leverage to, especially in the beginning, and talk us through to becoming a seven-figure company, to be able to scale and find customers and continue to send out medication to people?
We started very grassroots. Again, I go back to what I said to you very early, relationships. I built this completely from the very beginning, 100% organically on relationships. Because that's what I knew from the direct sales market, right? So we didn't have that. So I relied a lot on my skill set and my relationships. And I've been very blessed throughout the years to be in businesses and in businesses that would have me have a lot of relationships. And so we started that way. And I tried to also start online as well too, which we did in the beginning. And it was somewhat easier in the beginning when we started because at that time, there wasn't a lot of people within the space. We also didn't have all the regulations in place as well either. And Google and Meta and all these guys were really not up on things. And kind of like the whole CBD space when it first began, if you recall,
Yeah.
how that was. And then it got harder and harder as it went on. And so that's the same thing we started seeing happening with this telehealth space is that more and more players got involved. More and more people it's becoming more the wild, wild west. And that's when you started seeing the FDA step in. That's when you started seeing Google and Meta step up and saying, you can't do this. They started putting restrictions on your ads. And then very soon they made a requirement to get what's called legit script, which is a certifying, if you're familiar with, which we can have a whole nother conversation on that, which I think is complete. Anyways, I won't go there.
Let's stop you right there. So how soon after opening the business did you get your legit script? Because I'm in marketing, right, and I'm in aesthetics marketing, and weight loss marketing has been a very hot topic. It's a pretty great area, but I will tell you, like from our standpoint, we're actually going to be steering away from advertising weight loss for any clients that don't have dedicated legit script because I think obviously legit script is is something that's very tied closely to the government and the big pharma industry, right? And it's getting pushed down to these advertising platforms to uphold, right? And you're still having a lot of people fly under a radar and advertise prescription drugs without proper certifications or compliance metrics, but I think that's going to change, and it's going to change pretty fast. But to walk us through, like, how soon did you get legit script? I guess it was just more of a necessary evil for you at that time. And then how did you market? What platforms did you use?
Yeah. So great question. You're going to laugh at it. We did not get legit script until February of this year. All of 2024. So we launched June 1st of 2023. And when we launched in 2023, it was kind of stop and start, because obviously when you ever launch anything like this, there's a lot of bugs and things you're working out and
Yeah.
merchant processing, things like that, not understanding what you're doing. And so 2023 was a big learning curve year for the last half of that year when we were in business. 2024 is when, we came out, we were doing really, really well marketing. And when you don't have legit script, and even then you had to be very creative with your marketing, as you know, you got to be very creative and you're always on your toes and it's always changing every day and you're constantly doing something. So you're spending a lot of money kind of recreating stuff and reinventing things and coming up with new ideas and concepts of how can you present this product? How can you do this way and not break the rules and get caught or get shut down, things like that. And so all of 2024, we were doing that up until I would say July. I was on vacation. I mean, when I share this with you, it's I'm not exaggerating. I'm on vacation in the Exumas, hanging out, and I get up a couple of mornings and obviously I check my business, see what's going on with it. And I noticed the traffic had just completely tumbled down. Like, what's going on? Like, this is weird. So I didn't say anything to my CMO at first. I let a few days go by, and then I finally reached out and go, hey, what is going on? Like, we have no traffic whatsoever. What is taking place? And she goes, yeah, she goes, I've been off and on the phone every day with Meta and with Google going over this. And we are doing everything that our representative is telling us to do. And our ads are still getting restricted and or blocked, one or the other. Restriction might as well be blocked because no one's seeing it anyways. And so she goes, I don't tell you, Richie. She goes, I'm just going to tell you right now. She goes, I don't think we can continue this. You can if you want, but you're going to be throwing bad money after bad money. And we're going to continue to chase our tail. And we're going to constantly be reinventing things and redoing things and constantly looking at ourselves like, why is our ads not working? Or where's our traffic at? Unless you get legit script. She goes, I think you're going to have to go ahead and break down and get it, because up at that point, to be quite honest with you, I kind of enjoy the competitiveness of trying to beat these guys at their game and still win, and that's kind of where my competitive juices were going. No, we're going to kick their ass. We're going to beat this. We're going to find a way. It's more fun to try to work a way around it than try to work with them. And that's kind of was my attitude, but then it just got to a point where we just couldn't do that anymore. And so we applied, and then we finally got it approved in like late January, early February is when we got it.
And ever since then, what platforms have you used to run ads? Is it Meta? Is it others? Is it
Meta and Google?
Meta and Google? Which one gives you better ROI?
Well, it's funny that our better ROI has been coming from Google for some reason. Usually everyone says Meta.
I think I will say that Meta in general for me, for aesthetics, medical aesthetics has been the winner. And my company's been Meta centric since the beginning. But I do see value in Google, especially when you're really searching for a specific thing, right? And if you can really optimize those ads and drive traffic to your website, and like you said, you have a really strong UI UX where it's an easy process to get people from A to Z. I think it's worth it, right? It becomes a lot more expensive when you lose people. Whereas with Meta, in my opinion, how Meta works with their algorithm, it shows ads to people who have previously been interested in a similar thing, right? Or who are potentially interested in now, based on a variety of different factors. But I think also the issue with Meta advertising for weight loss has been that the fact that it may target people who've already been on semaglutide, right? So they're looking for the lowest price and they're not looking for differentiation, right? Whereas, Google are maybe just people who are specifically looking for, hey, I just want this shipped to my door. I'm ready to buy right now. So I think for weight loss, I think, I would lean towards Google, where I usually advocate for Meta in body and face aesthetics, which is primarily where we do a lot of our work. So good for you there. What does your marketing budget look like? Like, how much do you spend percentage of revenue, or what type of return on investment are you looking for?
It's changing every day. I mean, as we get deeper into this, and the thing that we're battling right now with the ad budget and what we got to spend or what we're looking for in return is the mark, as you mentioned, things are changing tremendously, especially I think within the last 6 months. There's so many players that's come into the game. It's changed what you have to spend or what, your return on your ad is, if you know what I'm saying. It's like in the last 6 months, it's become very difficult to determine some of these things because you have so many tie kickers in the game right now. And you have a lot of these companies out there that are banking on this industry. And what they've done, they created this entire business model around, hey, get into the telehealth business. We can set you up. It's like a cookie cutter situation. And it's so easy. You can make millions of dollars at it, blah, blah, blah. And so you have all these people who have no clue what they're about to get into coming into the space. You got these companies out there. I can name a couple of them right now that are just every day, just pounding the internet Oh, we can get you set up. We can get you set up. Have you ever thought about getting a telehealth? You ever thought about doing this? You could do this. It's easier than you think it is, and it's not. And so you got all these people, and it's pretty much thrown all the algorithms out of whack is what it's done, and what you're spending. And I think it's going to take a few more months, and a lot of these guys you're going to see get kicked out or just drop off because they're going to find out it's not what it's all cracked up to be.
Yeah, I think expectations versus reality, there's a big gap there. I mean, I see it with a lot of my clients who wanted to get into either brick and mortar and or telehealth. And I tell them, like, you're going to have to spend a lot. And I mean, a lot of money to come close. And guess what? It is a pricing bloodbath right now. It really is a pricing bloodbath right now because you have a lot of supply saturation, like you said. And, it's not as easy as they think. And like because you built it two ways. You built it organically through guerrilla marketing, word of mouth relationships, and you've built it through ads, which are, tend to be, um, reliable, but they can be very volatile sometimes, right? Um, so I agree with you that we're going to see we've seen tons of people enter. We're going to see people exit. It's the same thing as it happened, with med spas too, in general, right? We've seen, the industry double in the last 3 years. And we see a lot of people exiting as well because they're realizing, hey, I thought it was going to be a lot easier. I thought people were just going to come if I had a nice storefront, right? So, but
Well,
the reality, yeah, the reality of it is so much different. What are your goals for your brand? Being mindful of all the things that we talked about today. What do you want to accomplish? What are your plans to scale? And maybe talk about a little bit. We talked a little bit about like portfolio and peptides and HRT and all these different things. So, what are your plans for your brand?
man, great, exciting question to answer because the timing of this podcast and asking this question couldn't be any time better because I'm right now at a pivotal point in my business where we are going through and are trying to not trying to are creating a rebranding. And because of all the things we just spoke about, but one of the things when I started this company, not only was the user experience and solving that issue that I wanted to do, I didn't want to create just another telehealth company, another doctor's office, or another doctor ran program or product that sings that way. What I wanted to do was I wanted to create a brand. I wanted to create a lifestyle brand because people don't buy brands. They buy the brand's feeling is what they do. They buy the feeling behind the brand is what they're really people are buying nowadays. A lot of these companies you're seeing doing well are also founder owners as well. And so these founders are founder led companies, and meaning they're very involved with it, and they are the actual product too. And so that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm 56, so I I feel I could
Do you use your own products, Richie?
absolutely. I try to take that with the Men's Warehouse theme, right? Not only am I the owner, but I'm also a customer. So yeah,
Sure.
absolutely I do. And it's wonderful. I mean, I personally, not too 100, I feel I can perform. I mean, coming from the fitness world, it's what I've done my entire life, but I can perform with the 30-year-olds every day in the gym, every day, all day. I go to my daughter's workouts, we'll do it all day. I mean, it's crazy. And I do believe because it is because of products, it is because of, the recovery aspects that these products give me, the anti-aging aspects, all those other things. So yeah. So not only are a lot of companies today are founder led, and also the founders are very involved. If you look, they're very involved with the actual product side of things, and you see them in the ads, you see them actual running things, like different supplement companies and so forth. But we wanted to create this brand. So right now we're in the midst of what we're going to be doing as we move forward with Live Well RX. We're going to be changing the name. I don't want to reveal what that is right now, but we are changing our name. We're going to be changing that to a much more lifestyle brand name. And also, we're going to be adding in more verticals within our offerings that are support mechanisms, such as when a lot of these companies you go to, all they really are is what I like to call is feed meals. They're there just to roll you in, give you a prescription, and move you on. And here's, thank you, good luck. Hope it works for you type situation. And 9 times out of 10, hey, these drugs, these GLP-1s, they work every time. They do. But you leave people hanging. And that just doesn't seem right because I come from the fitness background. And so when I entered this space, I did get a lot of questions, like from my colleagues, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, why are you doing this? Like, that goes against everything that we've always taught our entire life. Whoa, wait a minute. There's a method behind my madness. There's a great method behind my madness. I go, let me share something with you. I'm having conversations with the people right now that I've never had conversations with before, meaning that Gladys is not going to come talk to me about nutrition and working out. But if I have a GLP-1 in my hand, a semaglutide, she's going to talk to me because she's going to do it. But guess what happens? That door gets cracked now. Now I'm going to get Gladys quick results. She's going to see that she can do this. She's not going to have to wait 90 days like on supplements or whatever else, which I'm a big fan of, which we do sell as well. She's going to get it. Now, guess what I have an opportunity to do? I could talk to her now about nutrition. I could talk to her about working.
1,000%. I think that, yeah, this is a good point because I do think that you said it perfectly. Like these things work pretty much all the time. Like there's no denying that. So that unfortunately creates, that's what unfortunately also saturated the space. And because everybody knew like, hey, oh, I don't need to sell this. It's going to sell itself, blah, blah, blah. And it just became obviously a sales and marketing game. But then, like you said, the differentiation has to come from somewhere, right? So you're either going to be the cheapest, or you're going to have a really strong brand, or you're going to have other complementary services or products that are going to help to support this person's journey. Because everybody wants convenience, where unfortunately most of the public has been brainwashed for convenience and immediate gratification. So similarly for me, I own 3 body sculpting med spas. We don't do GLP-1s, but we really focus on some of the other things that you can fix, right? Like cellulite on your legs and stuff like that. And, people are coming in here for convenience, but, they're not leaving our doors if they buy a treatment plan without having a holistic treatment plan, meaning a protocol to follow, right? With all the other lifestyle changes, right? That we need to support them in for them to get best results. So like you said, the lead magnet is that first product, but then it's like, hey, we really want to just help you in many different ways. And we want to help you lose weight correctly. We want to make sure that your organs are healthy. We want to make sure that your body is changing correctly and you're supporting it in the right way. Because we all know, we've heard horror stories of people lose tremendous amount of weight and they have crazy skin laxity issues, and then they have no muscle, or there are potential side effects to this, right? And if you don't do it correctly. So I think you bring up a really good point, and I think that's going to help you guys probably differentiate yourself in the future.
And that's what we have to do. And that's kind of where we are in our plan with almost, just 2 years in, as of a couple weeks ago. We have to do things that are going to make us different than others that are out there. And I think my experience and my background with what I've previously done allows us to do that and be able to offer up these supporting mechanisms. Like we do have supplements on our site. We offer that because I do believe, like, hey, look, one of the major things when you use GLP-1s that people lack is protein. Well, if I can give them a good clean source protein at one-stop shop, why not do that? And then also be able to educate them on why they need to do it as well too, right? Here's why you need to take this protein. Here's why you need this in order to be able to work properly and get the results you want. And then more importantly, get twice the results in half the time. There's some things we can do in order to help you do that and be healthy and do it as well too. Offer them up different types of meal plans, or not just don't tell them what to eat, but give them Let's eat. See, give them something to walk away with. That's the same philosophy can go with. You have all these motivational conferences, right? You know what you have if you take a dummy and send them to a motivational conference. You know what you have, right? A motivated dummy is what you get. If you don't give them something to take with them, right? Like give them a business, give them something in a box to take with them to go apply when they leave there. So if you come to a site and I tell you, oh, you got to eat this, do this, do this, and do this, and then you go away, you're going, okay, and you're left to your own devices, you may not going to do it. But what if I can go, hey, you need to eat this way, do this and this. Oh, by the way, here's a prep meal that if you can order, it ships right to your doorstep and it can make in 5 minutes. And it's going to give you the right macros and the right calories, everything you need, all controlled in one box. Boom. Not only that, because you're not hungry because you're taking GLP-1s, but you're going to need to eat and you need protein. So here's your protein. Oh, you need exercise too, right? Well, I can tell you to exercise till the cows come home. But what if I can provide you someone through virtually or digitally to be able to work with you? What if I could do that as well? There's a whole nother aspect. Now you're not left to your own devices. Now I'm actually giving you the tools to go apply is what we're doing. And that's kind of where we're going with this. This is the differentiator we're trying to make with ourselves, that we're going to give you these great medications. We're going to give you these great peptides. We're going to give you the GLP-1s. You're going to use them. You're going to get phenomenal results. But guess what? We're also going to go, hey, you're going to start asking these other questions about living healthy. We're going to give you now tools and actual applications and tools that you can take with you and go do. That's where the future is. And that's where I think we are going with this. And that's not what you don't see anybody out there really doing it because honestly, you don't have to really, you don't, you're still going to make a crap ton of money, but is that really what it's about? Not for me. That's not why I got into health and wellness in the very beginning. That's not why I studied, kinesiology. That's not why I did any of those things, that's why I didn't do any of that stuff. So that's why I got in this business, was to really help people. I wanted to help people. And I want them to change for good is what I want. And that's not what I see in the marketplace. I see a lot of people want to offer up a lot of stuff, which is great on the front end. And that's it, and make their money and go cash their checks and do what they got to go do. But that's empty to me. I want more than that. I want to see someone go, man, I feel great. Dude, check me out 20 years from now.
One big entrepreneur advice, just off top of your head for other folks trying to make it.
Be very intentional and be very determined. Part of this story that you heard me earlier, the journey is I've been to the top, I went back to the bottom, went to the top, went back to the bottom. And the thing is that it's never over. It's never over. And you just got to be strictly you got to be, what's the word? You got to be stubborn. You got to be hard-headed is what you have to be in order to be a successful entrepreneur. Because if you're not, you're going to quit. You're going to give up very easily. And if you ever, you hear all the time, kids, hard-headed kids and stubborn kids, those kids are probably going to make it because they are stubborn, because they are hard-headed, and they're going to stick through the hard times. And that's what I would say to the indie entrepreneur, it's going to get hard, but if you're not stubborn, and sometimes I just kind of call myself stupid enough to keep going, then it's going to be very easy to quit. And then once you quit one time, it gets a little bit easier the next time. And I would say that's, being a collegiate athlete, playing football, being a collegiate football coach, strength and conditioning coach. I think the one thing that you see and what has really helped me along the way is the principles and theories and philosophies and work ethics that sports and athletics have taught me along the way have really been able to be applied into the entrepreneurial world. And those things I just mentioned to you were being very consistent with what you do, being very hard-headed and very intentional and stubborn, and sticking through the hard stuff is really what I could say.
That's amazing. That's amazing advice. I want to do a couple of fun questions just to wrap things up, and those are totally unrelated, but they are. What is one bad trait that you would like to change about yourself as you dive more into your journey?
It's stubborn. I would say,
That might be it, because it came right top of your head. So
Patience. I get very, very impatient. Um, and so I would say patience would be something that is a virtue. So
I can really relate to that. I've always my saying has always been I'm somebody who's very driven and in many ways aggressive to make moves. You can't control everything. So I always said patience but action, meaning you have to be patient because things have to evolve, but you also have to take action. And I think that balance creates some magic for you. What is your favorite?
I want to say real quick on that subject, real quick. I haven't,
Yeah.
there's a saying I heard, and I'm still trying to figure it out. They say successful people are very slow to change their mind, but very quick to make a decision.
Mm,
Figure that out. Slow to change their mind, but quick to make a decision. But
yeah.
you have to change your mind sometimes to make, I don't know, so I'm trying, but it's true. Very successful people, I think, they make quick decisions. They know how to make it. Boom. They know. But they're very stubborn and they're not going to change real quick. You've got to really convince me what you got is better than what I got. Does that make sense? I guess. And so
Yeah, for sure.
it goes along that patience, like that balance of patience.
What is your favorite luxury brand?
I'm wearing it. Peeler Millar. I love these shirts.
Nice. Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Um,
Peter Millar, and I would say one other one. I would go with. I like Tom Ford a lot. I like Tom Ford suits a lot. I got one. So,
there you go. Um, what is your guilty pleasure food? I know when we're health and wellness folks, myself, I try to stick with my macros and I walk 5 miles a day, but I'm not perfect. So we all have our guilty pleasures. What are yours, Richie?
I have a couple. One is I could down some margaritas here in Texas.
There you go.
Also Texas, man. We got them. So Tex-Mex. I could freaking eat Tex-Mex 7 days a week. So
Richie, this is super amazing. Just as we wrap up, where can people find you? Where can people find your brand if they want to check it out?
yeah, they can. Yeah, our website is very simple, and from there, there's ways to send emails and phone numbers to call and stuff from there. So I'll give them one central location to go to, and that's livewellrx.clinic. That's LIVEWELLRX.clinic, and they can go there and there's hit the email button on there or whatever, and they can always find me through that very simply.
Richie, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a pleasure.